Yes? Okay. Since I've been told that the sound, okay, so since I was told that the sound was a bit low, so I'm gonna quickly just run through the first three that I've given you. Now, I'll discuss about the tips that I have for you. The first one was look at your child as your child, not as a disabled child. The moment they diagnose a child, do not look at your child as though he's the diagnostic. Look at him as your child still. Number two is get educated about your child condition. It is very important that you know what your child has, and when they give classes like parent classes, sibling classes, if you have other children who don't have the special needs that your child has, get them educated as well about all those classes, because the more you know about the condition, the better it is you understand it, and the less frustrated you're going to be about it. Number three, I said get help for your mental stability. The reason why I say get help for your mental stability is because you are in the shock that you gave birth to a child. No woman, let me tell you, there's no woman, no parent in this world that will give birth to a child in hoping that the child will have some sort of, abnormality or some sort of diagnostic which is gonna throw them out. No. No one wishes that. So because of that, you need to make sure that you are stable in your mental health. So that way you will be able to take the responsibility of your special needs child. Now, number four is understand your child's purpose in life is more than their special needs. Before you gave birth to the child, when you were pregnant, you always used to have all this amazing dream for this child, isn't it? When the child comes, this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do, but you still can't do all of that. Do not stop. Keep doing those things. Never you stop, irrespective of what it is your child and not the diagnostic. Yeah, so you have to know he has a purpose. Sorry, number four is that your child, you have to understand your child has a purpose. The purpose you had for your child, the dreams and everything that you wanted your child to be when you were pregnant, still have those dreams irrespective of what they have been diagnosed for. And number five is be kind, patient, and love towards you and the child. But on this number five, I want to focus on you. So I said I was going to give you those 5 nuggets, but I'm going to pick 2. So I'm going to pick number 3, which is get help for your mental state. And I'm going to pick number 5, which is be kind, patient, and loving to yourself. Now, let's start with the number 3, which is the mental health. We all have mental health, and we all have gone through things in life. Some we have spoken about it, some we have not spoken about it. Now, what I'm going to talk about for this one is it applies to anyone who is about to have a child, whether the child is special needs or not. It is so important when you have a child that you check that you are okay mentally. Because having a child, as we all know, I'm a mother of 5, this post-depression, whatever it is, there's so many things that happen. Your hormones are all over the place. Anything can trigger anything. Now, when I gave birth to my child number 3, it was a very challenging pregnancy to start off with. And I got diabetes in pregnancy, and it was really terrible. I really bloated up, and he was like a 10-pound baby as well. So you can tell already that there was complication in that pregnancy because I was so stressed. I was so going through so much at the time. So I had to deal with some issues. So when he came, everything was fine. I wasn't carrying him as much as I did with the other 2 before him. It was like, I wouldn't say that I was rejecting him, but I was dealing with some stuff in my mental state. So my mental was not really stable until I decided to get help, and I did get help. But I thank God that I did get help just before they diagnosed him to be, in the autism spectrum, whatever it is, that's what they diagnosed him in. So, and I thought to myself, wow, because it became very challenging for me then, and I had to learn about these new things and stuff. But then I was learning it with a stable mind. My mental state was so stable. I was okay. I was able to cope with it. But I never moved my eyes from looking at him as my most handsome and beautiful son, because he really is handsome and he really is beautiful. If you just look at him, he laughs and everything. That's how I always choose to see him. He loves to do all these gymnastic things, like acrobat stuff, and I get him involved in all those things as much as I can. So I still looked at him as my son. I loved him the same. I kept going to all the classes. I've learned all I needed to learn, and I've learned to be patient. But I wasn't going to be able to do it if I didn't, number one, get the help that I needed at the time with the counselor and the people that knew about the condition, and also if I did not basically love myself. So getting the help for me at the time, I felt like when getting that help, what would have happened is I would have either break down. When the diagnostic of my son even got deeper and deeper, I would have broken down because I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have started blaming myself. I would have gone through all these things from my head, but I dealt with myself. Now, I don't really per se, I know some people will agree or not agree, but per se, I don't agree in the statement good parenting or bad parenting. I don't think there is such thing as good or bad in parenting, because there's not a manual really that tells you how to be a parent. But one thing I will tell you there is a responsible way of parenting and irresponsible way of parenting. Yeah. And the most responsible way of parenting is, you are always, not just taking care and focusing on the children, but you're also focusing and taking care of yourself. And you are being true to yourself and say that, I can't deal with this. I need help. Now, with my autistic child, I do get help, and I always cry out that, I can't deal with it. I get all the help that I can possibly get, whether it's from government, whether it's from agencies that helps, and I get all the help that I can get. Not because I'm not fit enough to just raise him without the help, but because I need to recharge. I need to always be okay, because when you're so tired out, I'm not going to be able to raise the other kids, because there is other children. Yeah, there's not just them, and then there is me as well, and then there is him, because raising him is like raising 10 children in one go, because there are so much. So because of that, I am true to myself, irrespective of what I do, what my career is, or what my intellect level is. I still get help. I get even more and even better. Now, that was for number 3. For your mental stability, you need to get help. You really need to get help. If you feel that you can't deal with it, get help. And number 5 is be kind, patient, and loving to yourself. What do I mean by that? Having a special needs child, yes, it's challenging. It really is challenging. But you don't let yourself go in the challenge. It's challenging, but you are the solution for that challenge. It's challenging, but you are the solution for that challenge. So if you look at it as, I look at it as work. Raising my child, my special needs child, I look at it as work. So what I do is I will do what I can. I say, okay, every 3 months I take a break. Every 3 months I take a break. And sometimes I will go. I just came back from a retreat in February, and it was such a nice relaxation. Just me, myself, and I, and all the people that was there in the retreat. I loved every single part of it. I didn't feel guilty for leaving my children behind, and I never do feel guilty when it's me time, because I deserve it just as much as they deserve having me around. But if I'm tired, I'm not going to give them the love that they need. I'm not going to be, responsible, to give them all the needs that they need mentally, because children, when they're under 18, you have to understand what we give them is not so much about what we say, it's so much about what we are doing. We can tell them don't do this, don't do that, but if we keep doing what we are telling them not to do, they will do it, because not because we've told them not to do it, but because they've seen us keep doing it. It's like telling them smoking is bad, but then they always see you smoking. That's contradicting, you see. So what I tell my kids is that sometimes I need rest and I need treat, and they will see me go for my rest, and I'll go for my retreats and my time, just me, and they see that and they understand and they respect that. We have to understand children are not stupid. They are just like you and I. once we're children. And the best way that you can get to them is communication. And you cannot communicate effectively with them if you're tired. You cannot communicate effectively with them if you hate yourself. You hate yourself so much. Move our own life dealing with the raising of the special needs child. So we do need help. So the help in a mental state is very key, because if it's not altogether up here, it will be challenging and frustrating. And that's when you get the cases that people start to hit and smack the kids and do this and what. There are people that will say that, yeah, smacking kids is good. Yeah, great. I don't really smack kids, so I will not get into that. But I've seen special need kids getting smacked a lot, and I wonder sometimes, like, how are you gonna smack somebody who has no understanding of what it is that they're doing, you know? And this is what I mean. If you don't understand the condition of your child, then you will probably end up being those parents that smack a special need child. Because a special need child, irrespective of what they do, like my son, when he throws his tantrum and everything, I can shout just to calm him down. Like they told us, or we put like a little rucksack on him with a little pressure to make him to calm down, or you just hold him in the position where you hold his arm so that he doesn't, hurt himself or hurt anybody else. But I would not have known these things if, number one, I didn't know what the condition of my son is, and number two, I never went and sought for help. So it's very important, because if you don't know what you're doing with the needs of your child, I'm sorry to say, you could destroy your child's future and chance of living a purposeful life. Because special need today doesn't necessarily mean special need in adulthood. But how you handle that special need child today can also determine how mentally they will be and physically they will be as they get to adulthood. Connect with the individual who are doing the right things, and I'm really supporting what she's doing with this parenting thing, because I think it's amazing, and I've partly picked in part of her book as well. So when the book does come out, I will really highly recommend every parent to have it in the house, because she gives so much for so little. Even at time, I remember I have to tell her, say, no, you're giving too much, you need to slow down a bit, but she just has a heart of giving. She wants people to know the information, and I'm very happy that I got the information. So I'm here telling you guys about parenting, partly because I'm supporting what she's doing with parenting, and I think it's needed, especially in our community, and it's about time somebody took this guts and stand up and do it, and here we are. Mental health is very key to parenting. It's very key. You need help. When you need help, you need help. When you feel you're too tired, you're always shouting at the kids. If a kid comes saying they want, before they even finish a sentence, to tell you something, oh, go away, get away from here. That's already a sign of a mother who's tired, or a father who's tired. So it's very important when you start to see this sign for you to get help. Yeah, because you should be able to communicate with your kids without you having to kick them out all the time. Thank you very much for having me. So I think that's me done. I think I went over a little bit, but forgive me. They will edit it as of when it comes out. But as for me and myself and my children, I'll say thank you for listening. And if you have any question, do go back to Floating Counsel, and they'll be able to give you all the information you need. And if you want to get in touch with me, I think I've put my life coach page there. You can go there, like the page.